Welcome to this podcast, a safe space to help you let go what is no longer serving you and let's go into action. I am Liliana, your host. I am a Thanatologist, that's Death, Loss, and Bereavement Studies, and a bioenergy healer practitioner. I help women to heal silent losses that they have not recognized as such, and emotionally and energetically align them with their higher call, with their vision. In this podcast, I will be interviewing women coaches, holistic practitioners, entrepreneurs, women of wisdom that will share with us valuable insights and personal experiences to inspire you and support you into becoming the woman that you are meant to be. Please subscribe to this channel so we can walk together this path, and let's move to the conversation. Hi everyone, today with us we have Kori Rae Kovacs. Kori, so happy to see you. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I am so happy to be here with you.
Yes, well, this is it's a pleasure to see your happy face. Our listeners are not going to see your happy face if they're just listening, but I'll tell you, this girl is a happy one. And so tell us, please. I mean, we know you're a coach, but we would like to know, what is your practice?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a registered nurse as well as a women's cyclical wellness coach. So I help women who are ambitious and visionary and also want to rebuild their health and reconnect with their energy to build stronger bodies and more vibrant bodies so that way we can go out and meet our mission. So whether women are struggling with their hormones, like say in perimenopause, or they have conditions like PCOS, or even their goal is just to lose weight and have more energy, I take a holistic approach to their wellness through the lens of our cycles that we live in, both our through our bodies, through our menstrual cycles, and also the cycles of our life, and build individualized holistic wellness plans that are sustainable. So that way you can meet your health goals and also go out there and do the thing that that your soul is calling you to do.
You know what? That's something that I love to see that you match your professional being a nurse, your studies, with your spirituality and your passion for what you're called to do, right? So,
Mhm.
like, when do you think this call happened to you, or why? Why?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's really interesting. I woke up one day and I had been struggling in my own health. I had also stepped away from bedside nursing. Even though I had been there for only a short time, and wanted to find another way to help support women's health. I originally became a nurse to become a midwife. So women's health is always very important to me. But I remember there was this one day, I think I just had gotten so over my own bullshit. I called up a friend, my best friend, and I literally said that. I was like, I am so done with my own bullshit. I knew that I was out here. I was here to help women live more vibrant lives. I feel very passionate about women being able to create the life that they want, but I wasn't doing anything. I was basically just like binge watching Netflix, and after feeling sorry for myself after being unemployed for 6 months. And I think it was actually, I call it the magic of my luteal phase. It's like 2 days before I started my period. And I was just so done with everything, and
Yes.
including my own crap. And so that day, actually within a week, I started a women's group on Facebook called the Red
Mm-hmm.
Tent Society, where I was teaching about the menstrual cycles, teaching about connecting to our own womb wisdom. And that was really kind of the birthplace of where my business started. I wasn't really coaching at that point yet, but it was because Well, I allowed and surrendered and let go of this like idea of what my career had to look like. And I realized that this season, with having a young kid at home, that maybe I needed to be building another path and taking another path, still supporting my mission, supporting my
Mhm.
calling, that I had felt very called for many, many years, just letting spirit kind of guide me to where I was meant to go. And
Yes, I totally understand what you're saying because it's very common with me and other people I've seen, other ladies with this call that they have a call, a vision of they're being called to service, to do something to make this world better. And then they have this idea of what they're going to do. And I was clinging to that idea. It's like, okay,
Mhm,
this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put in my 100 because it's a calling. But it was difficult to make it happen because it was very mental. It was my heart was there, but my mental, my left brain was controlling too much. So,
mhm.
so I was not allowing my intuition and my right brain to tell me this is not the way. You're being stubborn. Just pivot just a tiny bit, and this path is going to open so organically that it's going to be just so easy. But until we don't let go of our being stubborn and thinking that we know best, nothing happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had this vision. Like when I said that I felt that I was called to be a midwife, I remember sitting there at the computer. It was many, many years ago, probably 2016. I had gotten out of the military. I'd spent 10 years in the military now,
Oh,
and I was building
wow.
another business of image consulting. And it was just, I remember I was just like scrolling through a like career development website that the Navy
Mm-hmm.
has for us. And I was looking through and midwife popped up. And I had never in my mind thought about getting into anything medical at all. But I had had a traumatic birth with my daughter, and I had a very difficult time trying to get pregnant. And so, birth work had already been something that I had been a doula a few times. Like, so it wasn't like outside the possibility, but I never thought about me taking a medical, going and actually being a medical provider. And so I started that path, and I thought I was like, okay, I was born to be a midwife. I was born to catch babies, and I was going to change the maternity care system. I mean, I had all of these things. And so life took very, very different turns. I ended up becoming a single mom, and I still managed to get to nursing school, but then the pandemic happened and it
Oh.
changed the course of what I was doing again. And what like while I was in medical or while I was in nursing school, we're fighting a pandemic. I'm new to healthcare. It was crazy. But I keep finding that life continues to redirect me. And the more that I surrender to those redirections, the more, like you said, like the universe
Mhm.
opens up those doors for us. And so,
Yes.
yeah, like I thought I was supposed to be a midwife. It turns out that I'm more of like a midwife to women rebirthing
Yeah.
themselves rather than literally catching babies, which
Wow,
is like a spiritual midwife of sorts.
that's great. That
Mhm.
is really awesome. That because you have aligned your studies, your vision with a good path for you as a career, right? So
Mhm.
that's why now these women are coming to you for a community where they can feel that they are heard when they give you their symptoms and their craziness going on, because now you can center them as this is normal, this is not, let's address it, do this, do that. So on, since we're still in the topic of you being this women's midwife birthing to the soul, tell us one piece of advice that you can tell our listeners about how to do this alignment with themselves as women and their cycles.
Mm. My favorite thing to tell people, to tell women when if they're getting started or even just slightly curious about how to improve their health or how to tune into cyclical wisdom, the wisdom of their bodies and their wombs, is to track your cycle. And I don't just mean like track your period, because a lot of people track our periods, right? Although you would be surprised how many women actually don't even know when their period is coming. They're always surprised by it every month,
Yeah.
which I think is hilarious. It's hysterical that we are
Hi.
like that, but it's very common. But to realize that you are a different person every week because you have different hormones. Your spirit kind of presents itself in different, your energy is different. So there's social energy, there's like intuition, there's creative energy, and all of these are all different throughout the entire month. Your hormones and your body and your soul, they all work together in this beautiful orchestra. And if you're not tracking the whole thing and understanding what's happening physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you're missing out on the nuances of who you are as a cyclical being throughout the whole month. So
How interesting.
it
How
is.
interesting.
It's really fascinating when women start tracking these things rather than just seeing their period as the only part of their cycle. No, you're going through a cycle the whole month, and you are essentially especially from a hormonal standpoint, but even your brain is different because everything in your body is different because of the
Mm-hmm.
hormones that are going through your body and everything. So if you wanted to start understanding who you are and how you interact with the world, how you best show up in the world, learn to track your entire cycle. I'm old fashioned. I have a paper tracker that I do called a cycles journal. It's an absolutely amazing journal that literally changed my life. But there's many other ways to do it. It's
Okay,
amazing.
because
Yeah.
what we're sorry to interrupt you, but it's like
No.
just so that lands the information. So you're telling
Yeah.
us that one week I could be more intuitive, the next one I can be more social, the other more
Mhm.
introspective, the other more thinking, the other more emotional. I mean, now I went too many weeks, but in
Yeah.
theory, in
Yeah.
theory
No, you're
that.
right. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting. I'll kind of share this little tidbit here is oftentimes it's your kind of expressive space of who
Mm,
you are, like, socially or outwards focused person is
mm,
opposite of your kind of spiritual connection. So when you are more socially outwards, you're a little less connected to internal things. It doesn't always come up that way, but when you start tracking it, you start to find that, oh, when you turn inwards a little bit, like towards your menstrual phase, so like when you're approaching your bleed, that's a lot of times why PMS shows up, is because your body wants to turn more inwards and we
mm.
are still focused on outwards so much. So we literally have this part of us that's like really frustrated because she wants us to come inwards. She wants like our inside wants us to come inwards. And so the more that you tune into that and start living your life according to that, then it's a magical how PMS and
Yeah, because I
frustration goes away
imagine
right before
I
right before
imagine
pain.
those calls of the body are very
Mhm.
subtle. So
Mhm.
that's why we don't know about them, we don't hear them, we don't sense them. But once you learn about them, it's like, okay, I better listen. What is my body actually
Mhm.
telling me? And
Yes.
interesting is I wonder how our listeners can now match this information that you provide to women
Mhm.
with their practice, as in this week I'm more creative, I'm going to sit down and create my program, and
Mhm.
the next one I'm more active, I'm going to promote it, or something like that, right? That'll be
Yes.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did a
wow.
whole workshop. I had the opportunity to do a workshop at a women's business conference about what you're talking about right now. It's like how to
Oh,
align your business with your
yeah.
menstrual cycle. And
Exactly.
it's so fascinating, but it truly does. Like I call this whole process cyclical mindfulness because you're mindful every day of where you're at in your cycle. And then you're like, because you've tracked and you've gotten to know who you are throughout that, you know that there are better times for you to be writing copy for your marketing. There are other times that are better for you to do editing for your podcast. There are better times for you to be, really outwards and doing a masterclass or doing, a speaking engagement, and other times when it's best for you to integrate. And you learn that because you are a unique person. And when you learn your own blueprint, then you know how to run your life. And this applies in business. It also applies in your life. Like, I know the best time for me to schedule an activity with my kiddo or a date with my partner, and a time when maybe that's not the best time for me to do that because I'm in a different part of my phase. So it becomes this blueprint for you to live your whole life
And
rather than,
basically, is going with the flow. I mean,
yes,
literally.
literally going with the flow. Exactly.
Okay, so now before we move to a different topic, what happens for women that we are menopausal?
Yeah. So in perimenopause is the time before you stop your bleeds totally. That time is a great transition time. And things are coming up where your cycles become irregular. And so you are learning how to understand not only your own like cycle and where you're at now, but the season, but it's also this space of understanding your surrenders and the things that you need to let go of and the things that you need to protect more so you can step into the next phase of your life, which is post-menopause,
Yes.
right? When you're no longer bleeding, but now you have this integration of wisdom. So the health challenges that come up during perimenopause are really indicative of how much you paid attention before then, and how much you were pushing more, hustling more, and not listening. So a lot of those things that come up, and I find that with women in perimenopause and whatever phase they're in, whether they're just at the very beginning or they're getting closer to the end, wherever they're at, there are always things that you can do to tune into your own wisdom. It might look different than someone who has a regular cycle, but that doesn't mean that there's not spaces for you to feel and find your own rhythms as your body transitions from using your ovaries for your hormones to using your adrenal glands for hormones, which that's the Passover that's happening there. So
Okay, so post-menopausal, we start to listening more to our intuition of where is this phase in my body, and probably we'll have to also do with the moon, the actual moon cycle,
the
that I
moon.
can match it, right?
Yeah,
Or something.
absolutely. Yeah. Using the moon as a space to reflect and saying, oh, during the full moon is a little bit more expressive time, and the new moon is a more integrated internal time. Absolutely. That can continue to be a blueprint. And also, you have an opportunity to see your own internal rhythms as well. So, even if you're not bleeding anymore, you still have energy patterns. And the more that we learn that about ourselves, the more that we can live a life that feels more in alignment with our internal energy, our physical energy, and our spiritual energy.
Well, fantastic information that you're sharing with us today. Wrapping up, tell us one little tip, golden nugget on the coaching side. Something that you learn in your coaching, mentorings, and all that.
Ooh, that's a good question. What would be, I'm like, ooh,
So
okay,
many.
what would be a good tip? What would be a good tip? Um, I would say one of the biggest things that I have found is do coaching in the way that lights you up.
Mhm.
It's sometimes, there's a lot of strategies out there about how to build a business, about how to get clients, how to do this. And I find for me, I have been able to be the most impactful and the most of service when I am in alignment with the things that light me up. the most.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I was doing a lot of master classes online, and um, I decided to move a little bit more to in-person things. So I'm still teaching classes and workshops, but I'm doing it in a different space. And I find that I've actually, statistically speaking, I have gotten more clients from in-person workshops than I have on master classes. And I think the reason for that is not because the masterclass strategy doesn't work. It does work. But for me, it wasn't in complete alignment because I feel I show up differently in person. So I transitioned and moved my kind of funnel, so to speak, of how to reach clients and find clients to more in-person activities rather than online
Mm-hmm.
because it was more in my alignment. So for another coach, if I was going to say, that little nugget is follow the things that light you up are lighting you up for a reason. So follow that in your business and trust that that's going to take you where you want to go.
That's a lovely piece of advice because what I understand is that when you have this sparkle in your eye of excitement as a coach, that's what people want to buy. They
Mm-hmm.
probably don't care what you're teaching. Of course, it's relevant, or what are your techniques or your practices or your rituals, but they want to have what you have in that excitement of, I want to find my purpose as you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
that spark of what it lights you up is very, very important, and thank you for sharing that, Kori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything else before we wrap this interview up you want to mention?
No, I absolutely love connecting with other coaches. So I would love to connect online. You can find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram. But it's just truly been a pleasure to sit here and serve your community. Speaking to
Oh,
other empowering and incredible coaches out there, and because we're all on such an incredible mission to bring our light, bring our joy, bring our message to the world, and it takes a special person to want to step into that role. So thank you so much for inviting me to serve your community in that way.
well, thank you. I will be posting your social media and how to contact you, because if we have listeners that will actually want to talk to you and get some training or something, it'll be a
Oh, I mean, that
fantastic
would be
thing to
great.
do,
That
right?
would be great. But also, I always just love connecting with others, especially other magical beings on missions to
I
help make a
know.
better
And
world. So.
you know what? If I may do a little golden nugget here, it really, when you do something just for the pleasure of it, like you coming to my podcast and chatting, whatever, even without this thinking of, I'm going to have tons of clients out of this. No, when you do it just for the heck of it, I don't know, that the universe has this little gift for you in an unexpected way.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, you're going to receive something, and you're like, wow, that's a little thank you for just for showing up, right? So
Mhm.
for our listeners, you show up. If somebody invites you to something, you say yes and go with the flow, like Kori tells us. So thank you, Kori, and
Yes,
it's been a
absolutely.
pleasure.
It's been a
We'll get
pleasure.
in touch. Bye bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Let Go and Let's Go. I really hope that we inspire you into moving 1 degree closer towards your vision, because you deserve to live an inspired life. If you resonated with anything we said, or you'd like to learn more about how I can help you to get into alignment with your soul's purpose, please reach out. I love to hear from you. I'm going to leave a link in the description, or send me an email, info@lilianachemberla.com. And remember to subscribe to this channel so you can join me in the next episode. Meanwhile, keep shining, because your light is only meant to get brighter.